Namatu Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Zem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. I also would like to um, express my appreciation and gratitude to the most venerable Pratep Visuddhi Muni, who is the director of Vipassana Institute for Mahachula, and also Tan Achan T, who is taking care of this program, and all the venerable monks and everyone. So this is early morning up here in Scotland, and I'm feeling very cold. Can you hear me well? Yeah. Okay, good.
Yes.
Yes, very clear.
Okay, good. So now about 20 years ago, I was a student like you are in Mahachulalongkorn University. So I did a bachelor's in religion, comparative religion, and I did a master's in Buddhist studies. And I do understand that those days practice of a meditation is not a cup of tea. Practice of a meditation is not a cup of tea. And it was quite a difficult one, like the Buddha said in the second noble truth. Yeah? We have a kama tanha, bhava tanha, and a vibhava tanha. Yeah? Kama tanha, we want to be graduated. Yeah? Bhava tanha, not only graduated, we want to have a certificate of graduation. Yeah? And then vibhava tanha, we don't want to practice meditation. Yeah? It's a difficult one. And at those days, I also experienced a similar way. Yeah? But however, because of this practice in those days, particularly during the bachelor's degree time, it wasn't easy. I was young and difficult to practice. But when I was in the master's, I went to practice meditation in as the Mahachula designated in Kolat for about 25 days. So over the period of a bachelor's degree, I had a conflict in me, conflict in relation to the practice of a meditation, because I used to practice Anapanasati as taught by the S.N. Goenka. And I was always struggling. But however, in the masters, when I went to practice, I realized something different. I understood something quite different. And I had a sense of a thought. Aha, you know, it's like awaken myself, awakening myself from that sleepiness and from that doubt and confusion. And after that, it was so easy. And after that, I found that meditation is really, really helpful. Nevertheless, after the masters, I came to UK in 2005. Now, as a monk, I had to engage with the teachings on Buddhism, teachings on meditation, but I never feel comfortable, because I always tell to myself, I am not a good meditator. I cannot teach anyone. I haven't taught myself. How could I teach others? So I always lay back. And it happened, one of my good friend, she told me that if you do not teach, you never know how good you are. And after she repeatedly saying me again and again, then I began to engage. But however, when we started meditation, I always say, I'm not here to teach, but I'm here to share my experience. And that's how all journey begin. That's how all journey began, and until now, I'm still here. Yeah? So we're here, and over the period of a time as being here in the West, I wanted to work with the Westerners in this new environment. So I went to study the masters in a religion and society in order to understand how the Western society thinks about religion and what is the situation of religious society. And with that helped me a lot, helped me to understand the people, helped me to understand that their thinking process and thinking ways. And with that, I managed to communicate with them. And that's been a part of our center, that we try to speak in English much of the time. And all the activities we conduct by English language. Now I know that you all understood the Ovada Patimokkha, which is the Sabbapapasa Akaranang Kusalasa Upasampada Sachitta Pariyodapanang Etang Buddhana Sasanam. A normal translation that we come across would be not to do all evils and to do good things. And my translation is avoid things that are not beneficial and do things that are skillful and purify the mind. Avoid things that are not beneficial. Basically, we think that we do things normally for our own benefit, our individual benefits. But Buddha said that it is not just personal benefit, but we have to think of others' benefit too. And not just the others' benefit, but also we have to think that the both sides benefit, and only then that is known as the good things. If we are thinking of doing good things for ourselves, it's easy. And also, if you want to do good things for others, and again, it's easy. But however, Buddha said, it is not good enough if you are thinking only personal good. And also, if you're only thinking of others' good, is not good enough. It should be beneficial for both sides equally. And people, we can't do good things. And that's because our mental state are mostly under the influence of greed, hatred, and delusion. Now, in English language, there are two words come. It's called mindful and mindfulness. So mindful, that our mind is full of stuffs. Our mind is full of all the rubbish. Yeah? And then mindful, yeah, mindful is full of rubbish, and a mindfulness is being a mindful of that state of the mind. In a general way, we can see divide into two parts of our mind. One is a negative side, and another one is a positive side. Yeah? Now, I would like to ask you yourself. You do not have to answer. Yeah? Ponder yourself. Think that which state of the mind are you having it now? Positive mind or a negative mind? Obviously, I believe that during this time of a practice of a meditation, you are having a positive mind, although you may have sometimes, oh, I don't want to meditate. That's a negative mind. Oh, I don't want to be here. That's a negative mind. Oh, I want to go away. Yeah, so like that. But rest of other time in your daily life, you can check yourself which state of the mind are you having from the day one, yeah, from the day when you woke up, between negative mind and positive mind. And I am pretty sure majority of us will have a negative mind much of the time. We will be thinking about the negativities, unwholesome, akusalas, much of the time. And that's again because we are living in the past. Yeah, we are living in the past, thinking about all the wrongdoings that we may have done, and worrying about the future. And because of this negative mind, we also have the thought of not wanting to have it. Vibhava tanha. We don't want to have this negative mind, but we constantly pondering it. We're still thinking about it, always thinking about this negative mind, negative things. One mind is saying, I don't want it. Another mind is saying, I want it. And with this, we constantly with the negative. And the practice of a meditation is to recognize that state of the mind and changing those rubbish into the garbage. Yeah? Rubbish into this garbage into the compost. And this compost, we can use it for different purposes. And that is the positive mind, positive state of the mind. But what happens is that when we do not understand this negative and a positive mind, we always go into thinking process, going in again and again. It reminds me a story. It's a story of Indians, an old Indian story. It's like the story of two wolves. It says that the chief says to his grandson that a fight is going on inside me. A fight between two wolves. One is evil, which is full of anger, sorrow, regret, greed, false pride. And another one is good, full of joy, peace, love, humility, kindness, and great faith. Now, these two wolves fighting one another, and which is the same fight going inside us, inside every one of us. Now the grandson ponders this story, thinks about it, and then asks to his grandfather, saying, which wolves will win? Which wolf will win? The old man said, oh, the one you feed. So that's why it's our state of the mind that between a negative thought and a positive thought, which mind do you think win? So the mind which we feed. Yeah? What is the sound? Okay. Somebody turn on. Okay. Right. So anyway, and this is how it works. And because of that, we have deficiencies in our life. Deficiencies of wealth, deficiencies of willpower, deficiencies of ability, deficiency of safety. Yeah? And all what we need is to understand. Luang Por Cha said, yeah, the heart is the only book worth reading. And some of you may have heard, yeah, the heart is the only book worth reading. And when we read, when we come to understand, observing ourselves, and looking at our own heart, our heart never lies. Our heart never lies. So in Chinese word, mindfulness means a presentness of the heart. Presentness of the heart. So mindfulness, basically, you have to feel. You have to see that what's going on in your heart. But if you don't feel it, what happens? We will have a depression, anxiety, stress, self-harm, and even the suicidal. Right? Like that. There was a once about few years ago, I met a man who was drunk, and he came up to me and he spoke with me, saying that, "Are you a monk?" And I said, "Oh yes, I am a monk." He was drunk, and he said to me that, "I want to learn meditation." Like, can you imagine if you are a drunk and you want to learn meditation? And I said, okay, but I was a skeptic. I was a little bit afraid too. So then I asked him to practice a walking meditation. Can you imagine you are drunk and you are trying to practice walking meditation? Do you think that they can walk properly? As soon as I told him to practice walking meditation, he started to wobble. He even can't move few steps. And having realized that, he said, okay, and he gave up. So like that. And that's because of understanding. Yeah. There are so many problems people face. So many problems people face. And then they need guidance. Because the deficiency of the wealth, people are poor. They are homeless. They don't have things to eat. And they are suffering. There are people who are deficiency in willpower. They don't have a courage to do things. They're lost of their courage. And people, they don't understand how to work it out. And they feel unsafety. So in those cases, we have to learn, as the Buddha said, dana, piya vacha, attacharya, and samanatata. We have to learn to share things with people, material things that we have. And not only that, we have to speak kindly with a kindness, helping them to encourage, gain more encouragement so that they can go further on, guiding them to find ways. And to do that, first of all, we have to establish ourselves in a good way. Establishing. I normally use 4 words, that is good, guide, give, and guard. 4 Gs. It's not like a 4G in your mobile phone. Here, I have to use a mobile phone to get the internet, 4G. We don't have a high-speed internet access here. So I always use 4G, but this is not a 4G here. It is 4Gs, the qualities that we have to develop in order to help people, to heal their hearts, the wounds they are having. That's first one is good. So we have to establish ourselves properly in a good situation, and starting from practice of at least of 5 precepts. And in meantime, if we want to go and teach, we have to understand at least of a basic fundamental teachings. What is the samatha and meditation? And then a guide. Whatever we have learned, we have to guide them towards the right direction. And a giving them an opportunities and a guard. Before doing that, we have to develop ourselves, inner qualities. And when I'm teaching meditation, I always use acronyms to teach. Otherwise, it is very difficult to use the Buddhist terminologies. So like a stop. Now this stop is one of the very famous teachings of Luang Por Sot. Luang Por Sot said that when you know how to stop, you have arrived. Yeah? When you know how to stop, you have arrived. In a spiritual journey, you have to know how to stop. But in a worldly ways, you have to have a fastest vehicle to reach the destination. And here stop is knowing the acronym of it. The S for seeing things as they truly are. Yes, seeing it clearly. And when we see it clearly, do not rush to see it. Take your time. Take your time to see things clearly. And observing it objectively. Observing it objectively. And most importantly, what you need is a patient. Now, in the practice of a meditation, sometimes we do have a thought of wanting to be enlightened. Yeah? And then we want to practice more and more impatiently, and then rushing towards it. And as a result of that, we won't see things clearly. In my understanding, I always take that destination is there, we know. Nibbana is there, we know now. That's why we are walking towards this path. Now, we don't have to think of that Nibbana. We don't have to think of that destination anymore. All what we have to do is to walk on the path. That's all. Every step that we take takes to the Nibbana. Suppose you are going to shopping center. You are going for shopping something. And then you know that shop exactly where it is. And when you are walking towards that shop, do you think that that shop will run away? No, every step that you take will take you closer to that shop. We don't have to think of that shop. We already know that shop is there. So that's why whatever we are doing, we have to see it clearly. Even in a meditation, we know that we are practicing a meditation. Rather than thinking of anything else, whatever arises here and now, seeing it clearly. And in order to see that again, do not rush. Do not push yourself that I want to see it, I have to see it. No. Take your time. Take your time to see it. Take your time, not slowly, but persistently. And observing it objectively. And this is observation of everything that arises in an objective way is very important. At that moment, whatever we are seeing, we are not having any judgments. We are not having any stories over it. We see things as they are and objectively. We are not adding any pleasant sensations, any unpleasant sensations, nothing, but observing objectively as it is, as they are, rather than as we want it to be. And the last one is a P for patient. And we have to have a lot of patience in the practice. Without the patience, we cannot gain any success. Without the patience, we can't get any success. And this is the stop technique that I use. And further on, in our practice, we have to know how to let go. Now, letting go is something that we all familiar with. How do we let go? Normally, we want to let go things that we don't want. And I don't want it anymore. So we let go. We try to let go. We push it harder. Like when we are practicing a meditation, we will experience so many pains and aches. We don't want to have it. We want to push it away. All what we want is bhavatanhaya. All we want is just sit and as soon as sit down and meditate, everything is perfect. Everything is perfect and gaining the samadhi and concentration, calm and relax. That is what we want. That is what we want. But it is not how it works. Whenever there is a pains and aches arises, what happens? We create resistance, we create displeasure, we create dislikes. And we want to push it away. So we are pushing hard. Oh, I don't want it. I don't want it. We're pushing so hard. But letting go is something that happens when we realize it clearly, when we understood it properly. And that is a letting go. So that's why in the practice of a meditation, letting go happens when you realize it clearly. Letting go happens when you realize it clearly, not like you want to let it go, push it away. No. Because you have seen it clearly, you have understood it properly, at that time, you have no worries and it will go. Although it may come back again, because you have understood and you have comprehended it, it will just pass it away. It will just go away. So that's why the practice of a meditation is just not just a sitting mode, but we have to practice in a daily basis as well. And this is how we, first of all, heal ourselves, learning that how we can heal ourselves, our hearts, all the displeasure and pleasures, likes and dislikes. And once we have fully understood it, and then releasing ourselves. And I do understand that the practice of a meditation, although sounds very simple, it's not easy. Yeah? No one would say that the meditation is good, and it's like eating a chocolate. No, we like to eat more chocolates because it's sweet. But the practice of a meditation, although it has a sweet taste, but it's very bitter when we practice every day, and every day our practice is not the same. The moment when you are thinking that I have achieved this state of samadhi yesterday, I should top it up today. It won't happen like that. We always have to start from the beginning. We always have to start from the beginning. And then you may want to check yourself that how much my meditation have developed. You need, probably you want to have a confirmation from Ajahns that Ajahn, uh, how much have I developed in my meditation, so that there is the thrust, desire to conformity. And every time when Achan say that, oh, you have attained this and attained that, your whole ego will just blow up. Oh, I am in this state. Oh, I have attained this much. Oh, wonderful. And you will be going into the same position where you were. Practice of a meditation is learning to let go of our ego. Whereas practice of a meditation, whenever we heard that Achan is saying that you have attained this and that, you are you're accumulating more egos. When you have more egos, what happens? You cannot develop kindness. You cannot develop compassion. You cannot enjoy others' success, and you cannot have a balanced mind. So if you want to check your development, check yourself that how much kindness you have become. How much metta have you developed? How compassionate are you became? And how much you can rejoice others' success without having any ill will? And how much you can maintain your balanced mind? Once you have these qualities in you, and you can check yourself that your meditation is working. And with that, what happens is that your all actions becomes helping others to find this way to heal their hearts. If you haven't developed these qualities through your own inner quality, inner insight, with your understanding, you will be faking yourself that I am helping others. But most of the time you're helping probably for your name, for your fame, for your recognition. Whereas once you have felt inside yourself the kindness and compassion and this joy or the success, and with this there will be altruistic happiness arises, altruistic help arises. And that's how you will see the dukkha in yourself and then dukkha in others. When you realize the dukkha in yourself, then you can channel to others suffering. Yeah? And even in Satipatthana comes seeing our own body and then seeing others' body. Yeah? So that's how, once we have seen this dukkha in us properly, and then we have lifted through our own practice and generated this loving kindness, compassion, joy, and balanced mind, Brahma Vihara, 4 Brahma Viharas, then the whole mind is just wanting to help others. You will generate this kindness. You will generate this compassion. You want to help by giving things. You want to help by speaking kindly to other people. Yeah? You will be uh, able to enjoy others' success, encouraging them to get success. And then you have a balanced mind. So with this, you are having your own great hands. You are fully developed in yourself, and then you are helping others to heal their wounds, their sufferings, and you have full of this kindness and compassion radiating from every directions to help others. So that's why practice of a meditation is to training ourselves to be a good swimmer, training ourselves to be good saver. In order to save someone who is drowning, you have to know how to save that drowning person, and you need to be a good swimmer. But if you go into the drowning and you don't know how to swim, you will go die too. Yeah? So you will die along with him or along with her if you don't know how to save that person, save how to swim. So that's why practice of a meditation is to know how to save ourselves and then how to save others. That is the compassionate heart generating from yourself by your true understanding by yourself. So practice of a meditation, do not think to be selfish. Yeah? And do not think that it is just for me. The more you understand yourself properly, the better you become. And you can check yourself how kind you have become. If you have practiced meditation more, and then you have generated this ego, what happens? Oh, I have been meditating this many years. Oh, I have been to this many retreats. Uh, how many retreats have you been? How many years have you been meditating? That is, what is that? That's not a kindness. That's not a compassion. It's like an expression of your ego that this is, and I am better than you. Ego. Yeah? You're generating ego. I am better than you because I meditate. And that's completely against what Buddha taught. Buddha taught, leave this I, Sakkaya Ditthi, leave this I, personality view. Yeah? So it is not that how much we have developed. It is a matter of how much have we understood, how much we have got this awareness, and then how much we can apply this Buddha's teachings of the Four Noble Truths, and that everything is suffering. And this suffering is simply because of we want. Even we want, yeah? Everything that we want is the cause of the suffering that we are having. And a practice of a meditation is basically the way, way to come out from the suffering. And this coming out from the suffering is not only ourselves, but also others. That's why if you want to know how much have you developed your meditation, always remember to check with the Brahma Vihara that how much have I developed it? How much have I purified it? And once you have got it, then you don't need to worry at all. Every walk that you walk will be full of kindness, compassion. There will be a forgiving nature, forgetness. And you will be excelling yourself from the ethnicity, nationality, and the different groups and groups. You will excel the boundaries. There won't be like, I am a Buddhist, you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, I am a Thai, you are a Scottish, you are a British, you are Nepalese. No. As long as we have this mindset that I am Thai, I am Buddhist, you are Christian, you are Westerners, we are not following Buddha's teachings correctly. We have to accept who they are regardless of what. And this acceptance is understanding that we are all human beings. Yeah? We all have a blood, red blood. We don't have a white and green and different bloods. We all have a red blood. And that's how we see that every human nature are same. Not only human nature, but we will be seeing that all the sentient beings are similar to us. As the Buddha even said, we are once in our previous lives been probably relatives. Yeah? Once in our life. We all are related. Then why are we dividing one to another? The moment when we have no divisions, then we will be able to feel their pains, feel their hearts, feel their wounds, and then there will be a sense of, oh, wish I can help, wish I would like to help. There was a one time about 3-4 years ago. I went to in the Highlands in Scotland. I normally go in the Highlands and stay a few days. And that year, when I was coming back from Highland, I saw this lady. I didn't know her. I didn't see her. I never knew before. As soon as I see her, I could see her pains, her sufferings. As soon as I see her, there was so much pain in her. And then there was a, automatically my heart beat so faster and said, oh, I wish I can help her. But I can't because I didn't know her and she just passed by. And similarly, about a few years ago when I was walking, coming back from a journey, I could see only skeletons of that lady. And then thought, oh, what amazing. I wish she can understand that this body is nothing but all skeleton. So this desire to help generates. Nowadays, when I see children, I always feel very sorry. Although they are very kind, very nice, I feel sorry for them, saying that, oh, you never know how terrible this world is, how suffering this world is. As you grow up, you will experience these sufferings more and more. So that kind of a kindness and compassion generates. And every word that you say, you will be able to channel with kindness. That's why Buddha said, you have to have a kindness inside, outside, in front and behind. Everywhere you will have a kindness. And you will always find ways to help. So that's why practice of a meditation, the more we practice, the better we all becomes. And we don't have to push a lot. Do little by little. All what you need to do is to remember to be mindful in every way that you are doing. Some days you can be mindful, other days you can't. That's okay. That's the nature of our mind. If we are always mindful, if we are always in control of our mind, then that is not the nature of our mind. That is the vipassana meditation. Ability to be mindful in every walks of our life, whatever we are doing. So the more we practice, the more we become aware. So my instructions always is that when you are waking up from your sleep, normally what we do, we go onto the mobile phone and check our Facebook, or immediately come out from bed and think about all those negativities or things to do, duties. But my advice is spend 15 seconds lying. You can try 15 seconds lying and observing the entire body, all the sensations that is taking place. That's the 15 seconds of a meditation. Now, believe me, it's very hard. And the second, once you come out from your bed, rather than walk away, stand. Practice of standing meditation. 15 seconds. I'm not talking about 15 minutes. I'm talking about 15 seconds. Stand. Watch your standing. As soon as you come out from the bed, stand. Before you step any further steps, stand and observing for 15 seconds. Believe me, it's very, very hard. Very hard. And when you go to the shower again, rather than showering with your old thoughts, rather than showering with all your accumulation of all the rubbish in your mind, feel the water. Feel the water cleansing you, like hypnotizing you. And then one of the very hard one is if you are driving, once you have start the car, do not drive away. Spend 15 seconds. And believe me, this is also very hard. Normally what we do, as soon as we open our turn on our engine, rush, we boom, gone. So spend 15 seconds. Similarly, when there is a traffic light, do not think of waiting for this green light and I will go. Just spend time. Enjoy the moment that you have nothing to do at that moment. Do not grab the phone. Do not think of anything. Just relax and enjoy. And wait for the signal to change. Because you can't change the signal. It will turn on and off on its own time. And normally what happens, we want to change that signal as soon as possible. And that's our desire. Not in that way. So enjoy. Even when you are waiting for the bus, do not complain about the bus. Why they are late. Why there are so many people. Do not complain about it. You just wait there because you cannot go. You cannot do anything. You can't go anywhere. All what you do, enjoy standing, walking, observing, mindfully, checking your mental state. That's all. So these are the ways that accumulation of this mindfulness. And these little actions that we take helps us to stop from proliferation, stop from making a stories. And we will be here in this moment. And that is the key. You may have seen, you may have made a tea. The tea bag, if you put into the glass in hot water, the longer you keep this tea bag, the darker that tea becomes. Yeah. So the longer you put this tea bag in the water, the darker that water becomes. But if you take it out as soon as possible, then the water will not get dirt, will not become darker. So that's our mind too. As soon as we realize that these are unbeneficial, yeah, these are the dirts, unwholesomes, recognize it, observe it, accept that, and delete. So every moment becomes the practice. And with that, every moment you are developing your awareness, developing your the practice. And vipassana becomes your daily life and routine. Because vipassana you cannot do. Vipassana should be realized, should be aware. Yeah? Vipassana is realization, not about doing things. When we do things, we are doing with our desire. But vipassana is about a realization. You realize, and you can't realize in the past, you can't realize in the future, but you realize here and now. Okay? So that's why once we have fully understood we are healing ourselves, and then with that we are also healing others. And that's the way to do it. And this is what I've been practicing. So I think I will end here for the sharing, and I will be staying few moments. And if anyone has got any questions to ask, you're welcome to ask. And thank you, everyone.
พระอาจารย์คะ
Yes.
I have some question. You're just saying that we have to establish some 4G, right? The first one is give. The second one is guide. It means guide people to the right direction. And the third one is good, which is at least we should have seen or seen 5 or 5 precept. But I cannot catch up the last one, whether it's guard.
Oh, okay. So first one is good. So establishing ourselves in a good practice, good behavior. Second one is guide. We are giving advice to practice in a right way, and then giving a safe and giving securities. Sorry, not giving any material things that they need. Okay, and then a guard, protecting them from falling into the darkness. Actually, this is, we can compare with the Sotapanna. A person who is becoming to be a Sotapanna have to have these 4 qualities.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. I hope that I don't have to speak in Thai, do I?
Ajahn Krab.
Yes.
I am Sam. Nice to see you again. Yes.
Nice to see you.
So, would you repeat that you say about the LLP? Like the first thing is path, the second one is patient. Would you please describe more about this?
Sorry, you mean I couldn't get it.
Okay, you say the LLP, that the one is path and the second one is patient, right? How to be patient. And you say about this. So I would you please describe more of this? Yeah.
Oh, this is, I use the word stop. And I copied from Luang Por Sot. Luang Por Sot said, in worldly ways, you have to have fastest vehicle to arrive in the destination. But in a spiritual path, you have to know how to stop. So when you know how to stop, you have arrived.
I see.
And in order, okay, and the practice of stopping here, first we have to see things clearly. What's happening? What's happening here in this present moment? Not in the past, not in the future. What's happening in here in the present moment? And we are seeing it clearly. Like eye sees an object, we see an object. We hear something, we hear, like that. So we see it clearly, and then to see it clearly, we cannot rush. We have to take time. Suppose when you are driving fast, you cannot observe what's going on both sides of the road. But when you are walking, you observe both sides of road, what's going on. So you're taking time to observe things, right? And then or the third or is observation objectively. You're observing objectively without adding any colors in. Whatever it is, you're seeing it, observing it without any comments on it. And then the last one is P for patience. So we have to have a patient to observe it, what's going on. We cannot rush. So in a practice, that's why we have to have a lot of patience. Patience make perfect. And that's why Kanti Paramang Tapo Titika. Patience, perseverance is the foremost austerity. that the Buddha said.
I see. So that you just said is means when you practice, you have to see things clearly, or whatever you thought or the thing come true. That is, you have to see things and realize that thing and see things clearly and understood that thing before you let it go, right?
Letting go is not what you do. It will go when you know.
Uh-huh. Oh,
But
yeah.
when you let go without knowing, that is just a delusion. It's
Oh,
not a
illusion.
true letting go. It will come back and haunt you again. But
I
if you
got
have seen it clearly, then
it.
may it come back, but it won't hurt you.
Oh, yeah. I got this
It will
point.
come, but the power of that will lessen and lessen and lessen, and eventually you don't have any feelings to it whenever it comes. Suppose someone hurted you in the past. Whenever somebody talks about him, even his name, even though somebody is talking about other person but the same name, you can feel in your heart the beat, the tension, because you are bringing that past to the moment here. Although you may say, oh, I have let go it, but whenever it comes, it hurts you. But if you have really understood and you have really seen it clearly, whenever it happens, it comes, it won't hurt you. And you will be able to, that is the real letting go. And that is the vipassana actually. True vipassana is letting go by seeing it clearly,
I
and it
see.
won't hurt you anymore.
Mm-hmm. Whatever
Okay?
that thing is, come back again. So it won't hurt your mind. It won't hurt
Yeah,
yourself.
it
But
doesn't matter.
you know that that thing is will come back to you again, but it's not hurt you. That is by seeing, realize, and understanding and seeing clearly before you let it go. That is
Yeah.
good way to practice meditation. So the other thing is you more mention about ego. So how can we check our ego while we practice? How can we let our ego away from our mind? What is begin the word ego from our mind? What is that the word begin?
Okay. So ego, first of all, we have to learn how to give things, dana. We have
Okay.
to learn, this is the very step, very basic step. We have to learn to give dana. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Than, hai
Yeah.
than.
Yes.
First, we give material things. We
I,
give material things, so we detach from the material things. So whatever
I see.
happens, and we say, okay, that's fine. This is just a material things. Once you have fully understood the meaning of a dana, then you will be able to let go of your emotion. Yeah?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
so you
see.
will be able to let go of your emotion. And as you let go of emotion, what happens? The greatest thing is to let go of our own personality view that this is me, this is mine.
Mm.
And you cannot do that unless you have fully understood how to give dana. If you're giving
Oh,
dana for fame, for name, for gain, then you never will be able to understand how egoistic am I.
I
Yeah?
see. I
And
see.
ego, there's two words, ego and eco. Yeah? EGO and ECO.
ECO, yeah.
The moment when you think that you are better, you are gaining the ego. So you are
Ego.
the one. But when
Uh,
you realize that you are just a part of the system, and we are conditioned arises, and we are interrelated to one another, then that means you are taking yourself into the ecosystem. You are part of that eco, no
oh,
different than anybody else.
I
Yeah.
see.
So that is how you will realize. That's why in order to understand that, letting go of our ego and letting go of our personality view, first we have to know how to give dana properly.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's the step beginning of a giving. That's why in a four noble truth, the third noble truth, Buddha said, chago patinisako mutti analayo. Yeah,
Mm. Right.
Buddha said,
Yeah.
chago patinisako mutti analayo. Chago means
Mm.
giving.
Giving, yes.
Yeah, patinisako means detach.
Uh-huh.
Mutti means completely given, but still we know
Yes.
where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Analayo, we have no attachment to it at all. Analayo. Alaya means attachment. Ana means no. It's like a Himalaya. Hima Alaya, a place where there is the snow.
It's no, yeah.
So
Mm.
that's a Himalaya. Same like in our mind. We have no attachment to anything, like the sky, cloud,
Yeah.
Nabhalaya. Yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we are completely detached. That is the third noble truth. Buddha clearly said, Chago patinisako mutti analayo.
Another
That's
year,
how
yeah.
we let it go. So
Mm.
that's why, first of all, we have to learn to know how to give dana properly. And then knowing that, we will be able to let go of this emotional attachment, emotional hurts that we have. And in order to understand this emotional hurts, we have to practice the sila. Yeah? And once we have understood how to practice sila, then we will be able to understand our emotional hurts. And we
Uh-huh.
will be able to let go. And that's how we learn to forgive and forget.
Oh.
Yeah?
Mm.
And then once we have learned how to forgive and forget, what happens? Then we realize that, oh, we are only the part of it. We are conditioned. And then we will be able to let go of ego. So that's why we have to have this vipassana practice.
Mm-hmm. I see. So the way we practice vipassana is the same way. The first thing you have to learn how to give a dana, and how to you have to learn how is when you give things without attachment or that thing. So when you're giving something to like a dana to other people, so it's completely finished when you're giving away from you, right? You're
Yeah,
not think that thing is what is that. So you
yeah,
just stop it. Like you just say as a thing is the faith is very problems right
mm,
now. So,
yeah,
so this is the way you just said, that is people just have faith to give to do things but not realize that. So
mm,
that's why it's create more problem uh,
yeah,
in by giving right now, because they give something to others, they need something return back.
mm,
That's why is so they when the more society, when the more people create this structure more and more, so is you and me or boss and labor, whatever is growing their minds. So is the big problems. So I very happy you say a word that when we practice meditation, we go to learn the Buddha ways. No Christian, no boy and
mm,
girl, no man, no woman, no right
yeah,
or wrong, but we all
yeah.
equal. We all understand the thing when they're happening, and we have to realize that that
Yeah, that's
is a,
why practice
yeah.
of a meditation is to overcome all the differences, all the boundaries.
Yeah,
As long
but
as we have a boundaries, then we haven't understood the Buddha's teachings.
yeah,
Yeah,
Ajahn, the most is like the Ajahn said. This is my Ajahn. This is your Ajahn. This is
mm,
mine. This is me all the times. So how
yeah,
can we get this from this? Because most people like, okay, Ajahn Vipassana is different Ajahn, right? And the people have been practiced with that Ajahn. Oh, my Ajahn is good. Your Ajahn is no. I want this. This is a big thing
no,
between
you,
practice
no.
meditation.
We have to understand that everyone is different.
Okay, that's
Uh,
mm-hmm.
so everyone is different. That's why we cannot standardize that everyone should be in this way. So everyone has got their own temperaments, their own paramitas, their own punyas, and with that, they will be walking in that path in that way.
Yeah.
So that's why
Okay.
we cannot generalize that everyone should practice in this way, but we should encourage them to walk in this path. Okay, so I think we have to stop here. I got a message saying that the Vipassana Chan is waiting for instructions to you all.
Okay.
So first of all, thank you everyone for the attention and listening, and hope that it may help you to understand and clear some doubts.
Yes.
And you all be well and happy, and may you all be success in whatever good wishes may you have. So may the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you and Sadhu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ajahn. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you สาธุค่ะ
Thank you พระอาจารย์สาธุ
Thank you ค่ะสาธุ
Okay, Sadhu.
Thank you so much นะคะพระอาจารย์
ครับในนามของสถาบันวิปัสสนาธุระต้องกราบขอบพระคุณท่านพระอาจารย์สุชนที่เมตตามาเป็นองค์บรรยายให้ความรู้ทั้งภาคภาษาไทยและภาคภาษาอังกฤษ